Hello, this is Howie here with Cedar Creek Homestead, and making a little video here at the Weber Falls Lock and Dam 16, real close to where we live at. As you well know, we live pretty close to the river here in Oklahoma, and we had massive flooding that occurred back earlier in the year, and this is the upstream side of Lock and Dam 16, and there was 2 barges that come down the river, and they hit the dam here. It was on national news if you missed it, if you watched the news. But anyway, the 2 barges came and hit. Well, you see where these big barges are right here. They hit right there, and they sunk. And since that time, of course, the floodwaters have receded, but they can't close those floodgates, those 2 floodgates where they hit at there, until they get this get the old barges removed. And I'm assuming they're kind of crammed up in there. It's kind of not the best angle here, but this is the best way I can get here right now. But anyway, they are trying to get this repaired, and they have lowered the water level very, very low to get in there. But right in there, they've got this crane that they're trying to get stuff pulled up out of there, out of this dam here. Anyway, they thought it would knock the dam out when it come up here. You can't see really anything there what they're doing, but they're trying to get those barges pulled up and out of there and get those gates fixed, because without it, there's no way to stop the water flow. So to do that, they have lowered the water levels. What I really wanted to show you, this here is where we usually fish at, and this little channel right here is where the boats come down through here to lock into the lock to go on downstream. This is the upstream side of the dam, and they've lowered this water way down low so that they can get in here. And anyway, this is the lowest I've ever seen the water. I guess it's the lowest it's ever been since they built the dam back in the 60s. They built this. My dad helped work on it. And back over here in this area, I was going to show you, there's all these concrete block things they got here for something. I don't know what they're really planning on doing with that, but you can see all that mud and stuff. This is normally all flooded through here. This is usually a big flooded area. I mean, water stays in it year round is what I mean. And a lot of people come in here and fish this with boats and stuff. And you can see there's a lot of buzzards gathering here. I assume there is a whole lot of dead fish probably with all that water gone. Clear from here to Tulsa, Oklahoma, or not Tulsa, Shodo, Oklahoma, I'm sorry. Is the next dam is near Shodo, and the water level is very, very low. And anyway, they have sucked the water down, closed off all the dams, Keystone, Oologah, Pensacola, Grand, all of them to help keep the water down. We've gotten 3 inches of rain today, so I don't know if they're going to be able to keep it down, but normally the water is up here about where this guardrail is, just right down below me. You can see this little guardrail. The water is usually up to there, but they've had to lower it down. Of course, if you got all that current and somebody falls in, would really be a bad situation to get a hold of. So they are got it down. But over here, and I think I've already maybe said this, I'm going to say it again if I hadn't already, that land out there, we like to fish that area, but that's also my dad used to farm that back in there, and they raised soybeans and not soybeans, but alfalfa hay and watermelons and stuff. And used to, even over here where all these trees are, this deal here, we call that the island. When I was a boy, there wasn't all those trees there, and there was a landing strip there that the Corps of Engineers used when they built the dam, and other engineers and stuff would use when they'd come out here to look over the work here. And I've seen some photos from aerial photos of that planes took from this area, and it's really neat looking. But that little old island there used to didn't have all them trees, and over the last 50 years, of course, it's really grown a lot of trees up there. And of course you can't even walk through that now, but all that used to just be farmland. All this up through here, other than where the river was left of this bank of trees right here, was the actual river, and this down through here was just all farmland. And when they took this over, it flooded all that when the Corps took it over. But I mostly wanted to show you this. When you're going up the highway, different places, and you cross the river, going on up towards Muskogee at Greenleaf area, or on the actual turnpike itself, there it looks funny with all this mud and muck out here instead of having actual water. So this is kind of a strange thing to see. Probably won't ever see it again in my lifetime. They say it could take a couple of weeks for all of this to go down. It still looks like a lot of water over here. That over there is the main channel where the water, where the sun's shining there. That's the main channel. The water flows down to the dam here, and then they've got gates over here, and several floodgates that open and lets the water through. And then over here, right behind this little brick building here, is gates that where the lock is actually at. If you've ever been familiar with the Panama Canal or any of that stuff, they have I'm gonna see if I can move this over here, and I'll show you a little bit more if you've never been around a lock and dam 16, or any lock and dam for that matter. Maybe you studied it in school. But the boats come from well, they can come from either way, but from downstream there, they'll come up out of the Mississippi. They come up the Arkansas River here, and they get to these gates. They fill this up with water. It floats the barges up, and then they can come on through. They open up a gate. You can barely see the part of the gate right there. They open that gate up, it swings out, and when they do, then the boats just travel on up, and they go up to the port of Catoosa or Muskogee, wherever they need to. And when they get filled up with grain, they come right back down through here, through this channel here that looks like it's all dried up. They come back, and it is dried up, but anyway, they come right back here. They fill this tank up with water here. The boats come in, they lower the water inside this tank down level with the downstream, and the boats, whatever it is, they travel on back down and go back to the coast or wherever they need to go, and they haul, mostly grain is hauled here, soybeans, corn, wheat, but there are sometimes fuel and other chemicals. Sometimes you'll see one of these tugboats that's pushing a bunch of barges that says "do not smoke" and stuff like that. So anyway, that's what we got there. And then I'm gonna film back this way because some people have pulled up. Over there is some other heavy equipment they're going to use to, looks like barges and stuff. And somebody said these barges, I thought they were the ones that were sunk, but somebody said that's just brought up here to put junk in and stuff as they start to clean this mess out here. Anyway, hope you enjoyed that. Just a little informational video. This could disrupt some of the grains like wheat and corn and soybeans somewhat, because they're starting to harvest the corn and stuff now, and this could hinder the delivery of that type of stuff. They also have over here on the other side, you can see these big power lines coming down. There is a power generating station over there, and it generates electricity, and that's what's running over there now. They've still got enough water that they're able to generate electricity, and they've got it going. You can see the swiftness over there. They may have it going a little bit more. I'm sorry for my camera action, but anyway, right now they're letting the water still flow, and we've had rain, so I'm sure there's a lot of water coming down they can't control out of the little creeks and streams and stuff like that. And there's a pretty sunset here. Pretty sunset here. This is downstream of the dam. Right here's the downstream gate here where they lock boats through. You can see that gate right there, and it's kind of hard to tell from here, but there's a big gate that opens and closes. And in this little shack right here that they got, a man will go in there and he'll operate the gates for the downstream part and let the boats in or out. And this here, the water got way up here on these rocks. Over here it's kind of hard to tell, but this used to have rocks that went all the way down. And this right now is about the normal water level for here. Unless they're letting out a whole bunch of water, this is the way it normally is. And it'll get up a little ways over here to the left. You can see this little drainage channel. It'll get up on it about into that area. But the water was way on up here and all down through here where that sand is. That's how high the water level got. Right here, and this is right at the downstream of the dam. It got much higher as it went on down. It went way over there on that river bank right there. There's corn and soybeans and stuff planted right there. On the other side of that, you wouldn't think it from there, but there's big corn and soybean fields, and it flooded all that. Went over the bank there and didn't wipe it out, but flooded the town of Weber Falls is right on the other side of that. And this apparatus right here is a dredge, and they're dredging out the sand here on the river. It's you can see how this sand is here. It's gotten so low out here that the barges can't travel all the way down where the Arkansas dumps into the Mississippi. They have to dredge from time to time, but right now they're doing an emergency dredging here. And this little equipment here, they have a big pipe over there. You might see that big old pipe. Looks like a big snake going all the way up through there. They got it ran up through yonder pretty good ways. And they have a bulldozer that they get these big piles of sand, and he pushes it around over there and moves the sand around. Anyway, they got to get it out of this river, and they'll pile it up over in there somewhere and get it out of the way. And trying to get it cleaned up on the downstream side. There's they say several places all down through the river where they're going to have to clean this out and get all that sand and silt out of there. Anyway, I appreciate you watching us today here at Cedar Creek Homestead. And if you're not already subscribed, we'd like to have you subscribed. And if you haven't already, like this video. If you give us a thumbs up, we'd sure appreciate it. And thought it might be something that might interest a few folks, and a little bit of the aftermath of the great flood of 2019. Hey, thanks for watching. God bless you. We'll see you next time here at Cedar Creek Homestead. We're gone.